Hello everyone and welcome back to another video of Social Science Mantra. And our today's topic is Conquest, Disease and Trade. In this chapter, Making of a Global World Class 10th History, we have already covered up that what is the meaning of globalization, what was Silk Route and how this connected all the early societies and how food traveled it established a culture and shared culture throughout the world as a part of globalization. Now in this topic, conquest, disease and trade, first of all we talk about trade, that how this trade gave birth to the globalization and how did pre-modern world shrink. Pre-modern world shrink, it means the pre-modern world before modernization, how it gets shaped and how it become a small village, that all the countries of the world connected to each other, how they got interconnected. Okay, so what were the factors and what were the reasons that we need to discuss? How did this pre-modern world shape? The European sailors, they used sea routes. So first of all, they were not using air routes, the land routes and all, but they used sea routes for making trade to the different parts of the world. So European sailors, they connected themselves with Asia, with America. How? With the help of sea routes. Suez Canal, we discussed that Suez Canal was a sea route and it was made just to reduce the length of kilometer. The 7,000 kilometer length was reduced. Earlier the India used to cover 7,000 kilometer more to make trade with the European nations. Okay, after the building up of Suez Canal, now this 7,000 kilometer length got reduced. So these sea routes help the traders to make easy trade with any nations. So European sailors, they used sea routes in 15th century to connect themselves with Asia and America as well. Indian Ocean, this route was used for excessive trade. Excessive trade for what? Goods were exchanged, labor was exchanged, ideas were exchanged, culture was exchanged. So everything got exchanged through Indian Ocean. Those travelers, those philosophers, pilgrims, priests, all go through this route and they just went to all different directions of the world, different countries of the world, and share their ideas, share their trade system, trade practices and all. So this way these sea routes were the key in pre-modern world to interconnect all the nations of the world. America's discovery, as we discussed in the last video, that America was discovered by Christopher Columbus, and after the discovery of America, its vast land, its resources, okay, America's vast land, its abundant crops. We discussed that how potatoes, groundnut, maize, they came from America, they were American origin and they were introduced to all the parts of the world. So abundant crop, vast land, full of resources, all these and minerals. Traders come to know about all these resources after the discovery of America. So we can see that how this globalization pattern got changed. Okay, how this gradually take shape into the present situation that we can say that the whole world is a global world and we are having global relations. Peru and Mexico, in this chain of trade, Peru and Mexico, they enhance Europeans' wealth with their precious metal, especially the silver. Okay, so Peru and Mexico, these countries, they enhance the Europeans' wealth through their trade practices, through their trade system, and even the finance trade with Asia. That Europeans, they help Europeans to trade with Asia. So we can say they finance trade with Asia. Financed Europeans trade with Asia. Even expeditions were set off in search of El Dorado. Very important point for 1 mark. What is El Dorado? El Dorado means a fabled city of gold, a fabled area of treasure. So many expeditions were set off by the merchant traders, by the countries to find out this hidden treasure. Okay. So this way the trade practices were started in 15th century and the world tried to be shrink and we can say interconnected with each other. Okay. This is not the shrinking of area, we are talking about in terms of relations, in terms of the connectivity, that how the nations were connected to each other. Okay. So the next question can be asked from this part, conquest, disease and trade, that how European conquest was not a result of superior firepower. Explain. It was not a result of superior firepower, that they use bomb, they use machine gun, they use any weapons, but they use a different strategy to conquer the different nations. For example, Spanish and Portuguese, they use biological warfare. Very important. What is biological warfare? They, instead of using weapons, they use germs, virus. Okay, so any of the person who is infected with these deadly virus, they send those persons to the countries to conquer them, because this virus, for example, Europeans sent smallpox infected persons to America. That time America was not having immunity against this disease, so they easily got victimized. So in this way, Spanish and Portuguese, they make easy target to different nations. Okay, the different nations were easy target of them. Europeans, they try to conquer the other nation with this strategy of biological warfare, where they did not use weapons but they used germs or virus to control the countries. Very important. 16th 18th century, because of this deadly disease and all, poverty and hunger, it was common in Europe. Poverty and hunger, this was common in Europe. Crowded cities were there, deadly diseases were widespread throughout the Europe, and we can say plantations. You have heard about French slave trade. During the French slave trade, and even we can say the European, they were not willing to work. So what they do? They send their merchants to Africa so that they can get easy labor. Those who are willing or those who are not willing, they just shackle them, they just ship them and send to the Caribbean plantation, where they used to grow commodities for the European markets. So plantation growing cotton and sugar for European markets. That time China, we can say till 18th century, China and India, they were the two rising economic countries. Okay, but after some time the China went into isolation, that disconnected all the relation with the other parts of the world, and it went into isolation, self-dependent, self-isolated country. Okay, after that Europe emerged as a trade power, because there was no one to challenge its trade supremacy, and this way disease lead an important role, trade system and conquest. This happened in pre-modern world, before the entry of technology and modernization. This was the scenario of world trade. Okay, so this way the world connected itself, and we can understand whatever the point that I have explained just now. So let's move on to the next topic. Section 1 is completed here. Let's move on to the section 2. So section 2 is the 19th century, and the 19th century 1815 to 1914. In first section we discuss about the pre-modern world, before 19th century world. What was the scene of the world, how the world maintained its relation with all the countries, how they maintained relations in pre-modern world. Now in 19th century, cultural, political, economic, social, all these factors reshape the 19th century world. Okay, so we start with the three type of flows. That at the time three type of flows were prevalent. First one was flow of trade. It means the goods and services, they were exchanged to all parts of the world. Okay, between the two different nations, multi-directional and unidirectional trade started to take place. Flow of labor, that labor in search of employment, especially in search of job, in search of better condition, they migrated to one nation to another nations. Flow of capital, short-term investment and long-term investment. Now the MNCs set up their enterprises into different nations, and they start providing the opportunities to the people. Okay, wherever they find easy labor, where they find saving cost, it is where they can save their cost, they start setting up their enterprises into those nations, and in this way they start making long-term or short-term investment. So this is very important of 3 mark questions. Now 19th century Britain, let's talk about Britain. 19th century Britain, self-sufficiency in food meant lower living standard and social conflict. Why was this so? Okay, the 19th century Britain, the self-sufficiency of food What was the meaning of food? That it was creating the lower living standard and it was creating a social conflict among the people. The reason is very simple. Population growth was increasing and hiking up. Okay, so population was growing with more speed. Demand for food grain increases as well. Urban centers got expanded. More and more cities started to be developed because as the food grain demand will increase, as the population will grow, the urban center will expand. Demands for agriculture product will also increase in the same speed. Demands for agriculture product, food grain prices will increase. All this will result into what? That social conflict, lower living standard. That is why under pressure from landed groups, the government also restrict the import of corn. That now the government makes such laws which restrict the import of corn into Britain. And all these laws that allow the government to restrict the corn and restrict the import of corn is known as corn laws. Very important question, very important point. What do you mean by corn laws? Is that clear? So industrialists and the urban dwellers, they forced the government to abolish these corn laws, and due to their constant pressure, finally the government removed the restriction of import of corn. So what happened? Very important question now again for 5 marks. What were the effect after scrapping of corn laws? That food import into Britain could be more cheaper than it was produced locally, than it was produced into Britain itself. Okay, so this was the advantage they were getting from the imported corn. So after scrapping, after removal of corn laws, what were the effects for the people and for the government itself? Secondly, British agriculture was unable to compete with the imported corn. Why they were unable to compete? Because it was available with good quality, available at a cheaper rate. So this was the reason for that they were unable to compete. Vast areas of land left uncultivated. Now vast areas of land which was used to grow corn earlier, now they left uncultivated because now people were interested more into importing corn as it was available at cheaper rate. And as a result, thousands of people lost their job, thousands of people were thrown out of job, and it created the unemployment condition. And even they migrated to different cities, even they flocked to different cities for better condition, for the better opportunities. And this way, all these 5 points were the effect after removal of corn laws, after scrapping of corn laws. So it will be asked in 5-mark question. So this is very important question. Okay. So student, here we completed section number 1 as well as we have started section number 2. Few important topics we have discussed in this video. In next video we will continue this chapter. Till then, revise all the topics that we have discussed so far. Thank you.